Hi, my name is Pedro Moreira da Silva, and today I'm going to share with you some designs to help clarify the capabilities and limitations of dual workflow. So what we're seeing here is in VS Code, the existing implementation, where the first screen that users see is the workflows list. And to be able to access the the creation of a workflow, they have to press the new workflow button. And both here on the list and also in the new workflow, there is very little information about how you can use dual workflow, what it can help you with, and what level of quality you should expect from the output. So this today, this even DY ticks is something that we can improve dramatically. So I'm going to share with you how we can make all of this a little bit clearer. So this is the design prototype in Figma, and this shows the ideal vision, not necessarily what we can implement in the very short term for this iteration. For this iteration, I'm going to share right after this the must-have, should have, and could have versions that can help us, break down the work in priorities. But this is the vision, like what the ultimate end state could be. So as you can see immediately when we enter do a workflow, we have the breadcrumb here at the top that has the full name. And the screen is quite minimal. In this case, we don't have any workflows in this project yet, but we see the name of the project. And there's already some really nice UI text that explains what it can do for you. So we can get a first code draft. We have the badge that says experiment, which set the expectation of so what you can use it for and what quality you can expect. Good up to intermediate level tasks, and then we have a list of tips of how you can use dual workflow to get the best results and what you need to do. And instead of a separate screen for the new workflow, you have immediately on the list page, or in this case above the list of workflows, of recent workflows, we have the input where even the placeholder encourages the user to specify an intermediate level code task in detail. We have the disclaimer below that says the AI feature autonomously changes code. Changes can be inaccurate, review carefully. And we have two buttons here that are like suggestions, but that also at the same time help the user understand even better and clarify what it is designed for, at least at the moment. So creating code for a feature or fixing a bug. So you could click on either of these two buttons to help pre-fill this text area. And you can hide these tips at any time. So if I click here, it's going to collapse into this button that says show tips, and I can click here again to show that that alert that has the tips. Right now we don't have any workflows, so I'm going to click here to demonstrate what it could look like when we have more workflows already created. So this would be a list with all of your recent workflows that are ordered by last updated date. We see the status here and the title, or in this case, the description of what the user asked the workflow to do. And now when I click on this input, I can type in, of course, what code task I want, but we can also take this advantage to provide a much better starting experience. So we saw that you had the create code for and fix bug suggestions, but we can go even beyond that and use this moment to also suggest code or to draft code for work that is assigned to the current user, so to me. So issues or merge requests that you can click so that pre-fills the text area with that issue or that merge request reference, so that you can then continue to elaborate on what you'd like to do there. So as you can see here, draft code for my work, update project dependencies. So I'm going to click here and it's going to pre-fill the text area for me. Okay, draft code for issue. And we see now that the other suggestions are gone because I already filled out this text area. And now this button turned into the confirm variant. And when I click here, it's what we already know. It starts generating a plan for the workflow, and it would then continue to do its own thing. But again, this is the vision, not necessarily what we can or even should implement right now. So instead of all of this that I just showed you, again, this is the vision. Let's look at what I added to the specific issue and the designs. So I split this into a must-have, should-have, and could-have categories. So they're like building one on top of the other. So for the must-have, it's very, very minimal, the changes that we're making here. So compared to what we currently have in VS Code implemented, we see we have the alert, we have this goal section, and a few things here. Frederick is already changing this to be even more minimal. So to only show the input, and then when you start, it changes to a screen for the execution. And so from this into this, it's quite simple. It's just changing the UI text. We have a heading here with experiment badge. We also change the disclaimer text just a tiny bit, because right now it says autonomously changes code, merge requests, and issues. But in actually, we have, if I'm not mistaken, removed the ability to change merge requests and issues. So it's only going to change code. And so the UI text would reflect that. And then some UI text changes of the placeholder, the label, the help text, and everything else is the same that you see here. These buttons, the cancel and give feedback, Frederick is already implementing these. So even though we don't see them here, they're going to be merged soon. So this is the must-have version. So again, very minimal changes, things that we can immediately do that would already improve this a lot. The should-have is a level above that. It's a little bit more enhanced. So we can see that in addition to what I showed in the must-have, we now have the tip alert that I demonstrated. So you could dismiss it if you want, and it collapses into this show tips button that you can press it again to show the alert. We remove the help text from the input because all of the other text is present here in the alert, and we add the suggestion buttons as dashed buttons that you can click to prepend, or in this case, append this text to the text area. And the alert that we were seeing here at the top that has the disclaimer, this text has been moved down here. And also the give feedback button is removed because that might only make sense when you're actually in the execution and you want to give feedback about a specific execution that you made. So we don't need that here. We can remove it safely. So this is the should have. So ideally we would get to this level in this iteration. And for the could have, it's a level even above. So here we are consolidating the new page with the workflows list into just one screen. So it's very similar to what I demonstrated here. The only difference from this is that for this could have, I'm not including this autocomplete almost menu. So I'm not including that in the scope. And I'm also not including changes or significant changes to the workflows list and keeping it as a table. So it's just some UI text changes here on the table, moving some of the columns, the ID here to the right side, removing the created column, and also some changes here to the order of things. Other than that, it's very similar to what we just saw here in the should have in the capabilities. Just this part is a little bit more redesigned, and so the buttons are moved into this single container, this gray container that contains both the suggestions and the start button. And other than that, it's quite similar. This is the empty state that we saw that has this small text. And when you fill out the input, we hide these suggestions and we change the variant of the submit button, the start button, to the confirm category. And we use the Tanuki AI button that we were seeing here. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this is helpful and detailed enough to start working. Let me know what you think. See you around.